right. This is the first episode of Thoughts from the Bench podcast or show or what do they call these?
I think episodes, maybe?
We're going to call them episodes. So this is the first episode of the Thoughts from the Bench podcast. And again, this is Ben, and that's Will,
the coach Anderson.
Yeah, you can just call him whatever you want. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's been called everything.
I go by a lot of things.
He's been called worse, I can guarantee it. And we're just going to talk about, first episode, kind of give you an idea of why we're doing this, our history in sports, we're a fan, who we're fans of, where our loyalties lie. And this guy right here, speaking of loyalties, this guy loves some of the worst sports franchises.
Gotta be loyal. Gotta stick with my guys.
You say that, man.
I gotta stick with my guys.
You picked the Pistons when they were good, okay?
And I stuck with them
but
when
don't
they were
act
bad.
like you're just like, I'm picking
in the past 13 years.
Yeah, ever since 2005. Yeah, we get it. The whole
when they were
decade
good.
and a
When
half.
they were good. Still holding on to hope.
Speaking of when they were good, what about your Titans?
Hey, 6-game jump wins by wins last year.
You still hanging on to 1999 or
I'm
2000?
still hanging on to 2000. The 1 yard short.
Just 1 yard short.
Just 1 yard short.
That's
I actually have a similar story from my high school career.
It's
1
true.
yard short. That will be in another show.
You were looking at probably the greatest slot receiver in Alabama football, high school football. Don't want to say college.
Hands down.
Just gold. And we both like the Braves, which it's not 1997 anymore, so that's kind of tough.
That's very depressing.
I mean, when was the World Series? 95?
95 or 96?
95. We were 2 years old,
Yeah.
so I don't really, of course, remember it. But yeah.
I was as big as a baseball then.
That's true. I'm still just
a little bit wider.
Broader
about the same
shoulders.
size. Yeah.
Broader shoulders.
I
give you
that's
that.
true.
Like I would pick you in a fight with a baseball. I'd pick you.
Yeah, okay. I'll go with that.
Fastball or
I was thinking like
ephus
ball, like 58 mile an hour ephus ball.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I would go with me in that.
I'll pick you. Okay. But speaking of the Braves, did you see the Hall of Fame induction people?
I didn't. I know that Sherholz was inducted yesterday.
You got Jeff Bagwell. Ivan Pudge Rodriguez.
Yeah.
What did he do? He was first ballot. Pudge Rodriguez was first ballot.
Short people need love too.
Yeah.
Okay, and he was short, and they named him Pudge. So
I know, but didn't he took steroids at one point?
Pretty sure he did.
Come on.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Is it because Pudge?
I actually saw a interview with him, and he had no idea, or he acted as if he had no idea what steroids did or what they were.
Oh, he knew he took them.
And he knew he took them. He just didn't want to admit it.
So it wasn't like, I didn't know.
He was like, I've never been around that stuff. No, I don't know what that is. I was just going through a hard time in my life, which I understand.
Wait, how does that? I was going through a hard time in my life.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah,
I took steroids.
Yeah.
How does that make sense? That doesn't make.
He has a Hall of Fame ring though now.
Yeah.
So
did he ever win a World Series?
I believe he did.
I want to say
think he did.
Let's see. Look this up real quick.
I want to say he did.
Because if you're first ballot,
was he not on the Detroit team that won the championship that year?
He could have been. Let's find this.
2003, I do believe the year was.
2003. Let's see. All-Star games. Check. Any World Series on here?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Just Google it real quick. Just give it a quick Google.
I go back up to the top. I think it shows it at the top.
Does it show at the top?
Let's go up to the top. See, 2003 World Series.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so he was a champion.
He was a champion.
14-time All-Star. Did the catcher just suck?
Oh, it was him and Mike Piazza during that time. Yeah.
What?
He did win an MVP.
He won an MVP?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That makes me. But he took steroids. So.
He did take steroids.
Oh my god.
He
just didn't know what they did.
Yeah, that was after McGuire and Sosa, and he was like, "Well, if they're gonna watch this, I'm sure they won't say anything about it."
That's okay, so he's first ballot Hall of Fame.
He's first ballot, yes.
And he did. World Series MVP. I get that. He was perennial All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but our guy Chipper Jones, first ballot Hall of Fame.
First ballot, easy,
hands down,
easy.
Right?
Easy.
Okay,
gotta be.
Because I was hearing people like, is he? Will he? Won't he? He's gotta be.
He's gotta be. He's top 2 greatest switch hitters of all time.
He's behind Mickey Mantle, right?
Yeah, gotta be.
He won an MVP. He won a World Series. He went to 5 World Series.
Yeah.
Granted, they only won one, which, it doesn't look great. But I mean, the guy. So he is first ballot.
Yes.
Okay.
And you also have Andrew Jones.
Oh my God, look at this picture.
That is fantastic.
That is rough. I'm sorry, I googled
that.
this.
That is the flash is too bright.
Is this like
face?
Former shortstop Chipper Jones right
maybe
here?
former like left fielder.
This
coming
was
out
fresh
I
out
want
of
to
high
say
school, first overall pick Chipper Jones.
I want to say he pitched in high school.
Didn't everybody pitch in high school?
I think everybody pitched in high
and
school.
everybody played quarterback.
Everybody pitched and played quarterback. Yes.
Everybody's like, oh, if our 3 quarterbacks go down, our wide receiver can do it because he played quarterback when he was 16 years old.
I mean,
I'm sorry. We'll get started on that later. I have a problem.
That's another time.
I will say that one of my favorite things is if it's like a 15-inning game and they run out of pitchers.
So they have to put a
and
position
you bring in
player
like the right fielder who hasn't pitched in 12 years.
And he throws like a 50-mile-an-hour fastball straight
It's
down the pipe and just...
It is amazing.
Yeah, just out of here.
Because you know he doesn't have a chance.
No.
It's like batting practice.
You'd be surprised, though. There have been guys who've actually gotten strikeouts.
I mean, I'm sure because it's 40 miles an hour. You're throwing off speed. They're coming in at like 65, 70. You know, like they don't know what they're doing. That is one of my favorite things in sports, though. Doesn't get much better than when you see like the bench shortstop have to come in to pitch. And he's like laughing on the mound because he doesn't know what he's doing.
He has no idea what he's doing.
He's got 2 pitches, maybe. He can throw a fastball and a changeup, and they're the same pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I'm glad we talked about that because, but this picture.
That is a...
I feel like we need to go back to this picture of Pudge. Look at this guy. Come on, I mean, what is this? Why is his hat bigger than his face?
Well, again, he was a very small human being.
But it's
at
like,
one point, he was very small.
He was 5'9".
He was 5. Yeah, so
he's my height. I mean,
and at that point, he was 205 pounds. That's it.
That's it. 5'9".
He's a Hall of Famer, and that is crazy.
But he was only 5'9" and weighed 205.
You have to, every bat he ever picked up was just way bigger than him.
Well, I mean, of course. Man.
Him and Jose Altuve, they know what it is. They know how it is.
That's true. Jose Altuve, they're doing pretty good, though.
They are first place in AL.
They're doing pretty good. Is he helping leading that team? He's one of the best players on the team, right?
Oh, yeah. That and fantastic pitching.
Yeah. Speaking of people that lead teams or want to lead teams, what do you think about Kyrie Irving? I mean, there's literally a ton of stuff you could say.
Yeah, there's a lot you could go off of that.
Your first thoughts.
I understand that he wants to be out of LeBron's shadow.
Right.
Because LeBron, he'll get there. He's got a ring in Cleveland. They don't win it this year. Of course, he's going to leave. So then once you leave...
I think he's leaving anyway.
He's leaving.
Even if they beat Golden State.
Regardless, he's going to leave.
Let's not pretend it's not going to be Golden State.
Yeah, it's going to be Golden State.
Good for Houston.
It's not going to be Houston.
Minnesota, Oklahoma City. Good for them.
Yeah, it's not going to be those guys. But, no, I definitely think that he is right to not want to be in LeBron's shadow. Mm-hmm. He is still pretty much somewhat of a younger guy.
He's 25.
Yeah, so he's still got a ton of time.
Not even at his prime yet, probably.
Yeah, and he's already... Yeah, I would say top 5 point guard in the league, easy.
I mean, as far as scoring, his defense is terrible. He can't guard, and I know Steph can't either, and people love Steph.
Yeah,
but I mean, I guess I don't know who would you put ahead of him. I mean, Harden, Westbrook. Is Harden a point guard anymore? He's got Chris Paul.
I think he's going back to. He tried to play point guard last year.
He did great.
He did great at it, but I think with Chris Paul now,
brought in another point guard.
They just brought in another one, so he'll go back to the 2 guard.
So can you even count him as a point guard? I guess
I would count him as a guard. I wouldn't count him as a point guard.
Until I see him play shooting guard again, I'm counting him as a point guard.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Westbrook, Harden, Steph Curry.
Now
they're above him.
You have to look, and I know a lot of people probably won't agree with this. You may not either. Isaiah Thomas is not bad.
I mean, you're short people.
Hey, I got to rep him now. But
I respect that.
But
I like him. I love Isaiah.
I feel like he tries to do too much. I feel like...
Well, on that team he had to.
Yeah.
Hopefully now... with Hayward.
Yeah. Well, that's still a small lineup.
That's true.
Way. That's pretty tiny.
I got to give some love to John Wall though, because
definitely John Wall. John Wall is definitely up there.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's good, and he plays for Washington, and Washington's never gotten any love.
Yeah,
I mean
he just signed that huge extension to stay there, so he's gonna man down that point guard spot in Washington for a long time.
So we missing anybody? I mean, we got Harden, Westbrook, Curry. Wall, maybe.
I got it. Reggie Jackson.
Okay, no.
Reggie Jackson.
He used to play for my Thunder, and He was a great sixth man, and so was Harden. But Reggie Jackson.
No, he's.
Y'all can just trade half your team and get Kyrie. How about that? You can have Kyrie and Andre Drummond and Joe Dumars can come out of retirement.
Joe Dumars, definitely.
And,
he was a better player than he was a front office guy.
You go player, GM, player.
That's true. Well,
you can do that.
Yeah. Then I feel like if we do that, we have to bring in Stan Van Gundy in to play the 4.
I don't know if Stan could do it. I mean, if you're talking like he can just cherry pick. And
not many people can get around him.
Are you saying
you can Euro step, but he's the wide guy.
So you're saying Stan can only stand one half the court. You're keeping him on defense.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's fair because
definitely.
I don't think he's going to bring. I mean, some hard screens.
While the team is on the offensive side of the ball, I have him on the opposite side of the court at the free throw line.
That's fair. Like
when they have the ball, then I want him backing up into the paint. If they take the 3, they take the 3. It's either going to go in or not.
That's true.
So and if they come in the lane, then you got big old round Stan Van Gundy.
Give me the round amount of rebound. He can fight
rebound.
Chuck for that nickname.
Build an effing wall.
I would have watched Charles Barkley and Stan Van Gundy fight for the nickname round mound of rebound. If he were to play, I would watch that fight.
Who would win that fight?
Oh man, see, we're getting into some deep stuff here now. Okay,
that fight,
I gotta go Chuck.
I feel like that fight would be terrible.
Only because I've seen Chuck actually get into some fights. Because in his playing days,
he was ruthless.
Like I don't think Van Gundy. He could call in Jeff to help him, and I still think
Jeff
Charles
would probably
Barkley.
make things worse.
Charles Barkley.
Jeff would probably hit Stan, not meaning to.
He would just sit there and then break down the fight. From the side.
Oh, that's true.
Like that's all he would do. True. And he would say some crazy stuff that nobody agreed with.
If I had a tag team partner in the NBA, I would bring in Ben Wallace because Ben Wallace rocked Ron Artest or Meta World Peace.
It's true.
And
you can call him Ron Artest. I don't care about Meta World Peace.
Whatever his name is.
That's dumb. He's Ron Artest.
But Ben Wallace would be my.
That's true. You could bring him to play for the Pistons again.
Him and Bill Laimbeer.
That would just
two of the meanest centers that I've seen. That would.
So you're going Laimbeer over Rasheed if you had to bring somebody back. Because you watched Rasheed and Ben, and obviously never got to see Bill Laimbeer play.
Yeah, character-wise, I would put Rasheed there, but guys that you want to, foul instead of giving the easy basket, definitely Laimbeer.
Yeah, I think Laimbeer, just because he's more fun. He would throw down too.
Oh, yeah. And as old as he is, I think he would still be just as mean doing it. So it wouldn't be...
I don't know, didn't he coach like...
I want to say he actually coached at...
He coached at some point.
Was it not Georgetown?
Let me look. I don't think... No, he coached a... hold on one second. I'm pretty sure he coached a team. Was it like a WNBA team maybe? Or something?
He is the head coach of the New York Liberty.
Ah, that's right, yeah.
So
told you, he's coaching a WNBA team. So he's really toned it down a little bit.
So he actually...
And he
helped with the
Detroit
Timberwolves
Shock.
and the Detroit Shots.
So he's okay.
Yeah.
So he's toned it down.
Yeah, he's toned it. Well,
his playing days. Because
depends on who you ask.
You think
depends on who you ask. I mean, coaches are tough too. Coaches can be tough.
I would love to see him lead a WNBA practice in the same mindset that they used to have, like the bad
Detroit,
boys.
Yeah,
that would be. Like, I would never want to play his New York Liberties team if they were using that mentality.
I'd fake an injury.
That would be.
I used to be really good at that, so I would definitely fake an injury.
How many concussions did you, quote unquote, have?
27.
20. I don't think that's true. He's exaggerating. Yeah. Maybe, what was it really like? 26.
I know.
20, 25.
Well, a couple on my fate again.
Okay.
So I would say probably 23.
23. 23 sounds. Honestly, extremely believable.
Yeah.
How many bones? How many bones you break?
All of them.
Okay. At the same time, it was
same time.
It was
same
just
time.
gruesome.
And I'm still
injury.
here. I'm still here. So
it was a scary thing. We thought we were going to lose him there.
My cousin Ray fell off the roller
I
coaster.
don't think that's a thing. I think that's from Dodgeball.
I'm
pretty sure that's from the movie Dodgeball.
No, I have a cousin named Ray.
Yeah, because he fell off a roller coaster and died.
Every bone in his
selfish. All right. Anyway, back to Kyrie.
We got way off topic.
Where do you want him to go? Any team in the league, not just the ones.
I'd love for him to be in Detroit. However, realistically,
do you think he'd fit? Like, you'd have to give up.
It depends on what Detroit would have to give up.
Like, I feel like you'd have to give up Tobias, maybe, or even Avery Bradley. You just got him, but you'd wait long enough to be able to trade him.
See, I could see Detroit sending maybe a Reggie Jackson, Stanley Johnson, and a couple firsts. I don't know if that would be enough for Cleveland, but in Cleveland's perspective, you would have a Stanley Johnson who, toughness-wise, has been compared to LeBron just because of how big he is. I'm not saying he's going to be LeBron.
I
But
don't know if anybody will.
No, nobody ever be LeBron. But you have a tough guy who's not afraid to run his mouth, back it up. And then you have Reggie now. With Cleveland, if they make that trade, then you got Reggie Jackson and Derrick Rose. Both are injury prone, so you may actually have to have LeBron running the point guard.
That's true. That would be, like some Magic Johnson, Penny Hardaway.
So then you could have LeBron running the point and Stanley Johnson on the floor. So I don't know. Realistically, I can see him fitting in New York. I definitely think the Knicks would be a good team for him.
I can see that.
I think that 3-team deal that everybody has seen would be a definitely good between New York, Cleveland, and the Suns.
Yeah, that one seems the most
realistic, and so that would be my point. I do believe with the GM stuff, when all that was going on in Cleveland, didn't know who their GM was going to be,
right? And
the day that Kyrie Irving says he wants to be traded, they name a new GM and nobody even knew about it. So, I don't know. I can definitely see him being traded. I don't think they want to trade him, and if they don't, I don't see Kyrie Irving not playing 100% if he doesn't get traded.
But yeah, the New York Phoenix, because what was it they would get? Cleveland
would get Bledsoe
and Carmelo, right?
Carmelo.
And that's all they would get.
Right. And then you'd have to think some first-round picks.
Yeah, well, they'd have to get maybe some picks. And then they'd give up Love, was going to Phoenix.
Love was going to Phoenix.
And then Kyrie to New York. And I mean some other smaller
and some other guys
to make the money work.
Yeah.
But do you think a team of Bledsoe, Carmelo, and LeBron is better than Kyrie, Love, and LeBron?
No.
I mean, they went to 3 straight
finals. I don't think so. I think Bledsoe's a good point guard. I don't believe he's
defensively
he's
much better.
Good.
He is much better.
What you have in him defensively, you have in Kyrie offensively.
That's true. And he's injury prone.
That's true.
Which doesn't help.
That's true.
Carmelo's getting old.
I don't think Cleveland gets better with that trade. I think they have bigger names on the team with that trade.
Are they worse? Because I feel like the addition of, I think Carmelo is probably better than Kevin Love if you're just comparing the pieces.
Yeah.
But obviously Irving is better than Bledsoe.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if they'd get any worse, but I think the team would just be different.
I don't think with momentum starting to, I guess, shift towards Boston, if you look what Boston's done.
Yeah. And then
I don't think if they make that trade, they are the number 1 seed next year.
Yeah, Boston's coming for them.
Toronto's coming for them. However,
I don't think Toronto's
never going to be. Yeah, they're always going to choke. They're never going to be anything.
The teams that they need to worry about, like Milwaukee's waiting for the Cavs dynasty to end, and Boston is literally 1 piece away from being better.
And you also have to look at Philadelphia too. They're in the East, and they're not far away from being. I mean, you give them a legitimate playoff team.
2 or 3 years of all playing together,
easy,
and they'll be dangerous. This year they're already going to be dangerous because they've got how many number 1, number 2, number 3 picks on the team?
All the starting 5.
And then there's Redick.
Yeah, there's Redick.
He's going to be paid $20-something million
for 1 year.
For 1 season.
1 year,
which doesn't make it a terrible contract because after this year the money's off the table. But that's so much money for JJ Redick. I get it, but still. But yeah, the Kyrie thing, I would love to see him in Minnesota. They'd have to give up Wiggins, but personally Wiggins is one of the most overrated players to me.
Yeah.
The guy can score, but so can everybody that was rated that highly. He can't pass. He can't rebound. Defensively, he's worse than Kyrie is. He is terrible on defense.
Yeah.
And if that's the guy on your team that's supposed to guard, Durant and Kawhi and Paul George, who's in the West now, there's no way.
Yeah, so,
there's no way.
If you have Kyrie with Minnesota, with Jimmy Butler now, and you got Big Cat, how good do you think they'll be? Do you make them a playoff team?
They're a playoff team now even with Wiggins.
Okay. What seed do you have? Where do you have them?
Well, I would have. Gotta look at the.
Now this is with Kyrie and without Kyrie. We'll go without Kyrie first.
Okay, without Kyrie, they're probably. Well, I look at the teams ahead of them. Golden State's obviously ahead of them, and then you have San Antonio.
I think Houston's ahead of them.
Houston and Oklahoma City with Paul George. Probably all 4 of those teams are ahead of them. I could see them being anywhere from the 5, 6. But remember, this team never gels well. ever.
That's
they
true.
had Levine.
That's true.
And they had Rubio.
Yeah.
You know, they lost these guys, but they had those 4 players who were supposed to be athletic and be able to just the offense was going to be beautiful. Rubio was going to pass to all these playmakers, and they were always disappointing.
And they're all playing for different teams now.
Last year, like I picked them as my sleeper team, and they finished like 10th in the West, something like that.
I think, I believe so.
Check this. I mean, it was just there's no reason that last year they shouldn't have made the playoffs. But now, without him, Jimmy Butler obviously adds great scoring, defending. He brings a name to the team.
Yeah.
And like Karl Anthony Towns is already he's clearly going to be one of the best centers. It might be the best center. They're him and DeMarcus. I could see you saying either one of those guys.
So they were actually 13th.
13th. Wow, I gave them way too much credit. 13th in the West.
Yeah.
With, some of the most athletic young players. But now, they got rid of some youth and they added experience and an all-star. So without Butler, we look at these teams: Golden State, San Antonio, Houston, Oklahoma City.
I think Denver.
Denver,
they got Paul Millsap.
They did, and Nikola Jokic is a beast.
Is going to be good.
He is super underrated.
I definitely think Denver's in there.
That's true.
You have to look at New Orleans simply because
with the
name-wise, you have Boogie and you have the Brow.
You'll have both of them playing for a full season.
Exactly.
Together. Well, potentially. If they struggle, I can see DeMarcus
or
Davis.
I can see both of them getting traded.
Either one. I feel like one. They'll try to keep one to build around.
Yeah.
But, they've done the Davis experiment for a while.
Yeah.
I'd see. I don't know.
Sacramento won't be in it. I don't think Dallas will make it. However, I do think Dallas will be better because.
You think so? Well, what did they go off last year? 33 and 49. So it's hard to be worse
I think
than
that. I think they can win more games than 33 this year. However, I will say this, and a lot of people may or may not agree with me. I don't think the Lakers make the playoffs this year.
I don't think they do either. I don't think it's close. Honestly,
it's just the West is too loaded, too stacked.
How good would Lonzo Ball have to be? We'll get onto this after this. We'll finish this, but we'll talk about that next. But
okay.
Without Kyrie, Timberwolves
definitely not. You don't think so?
They are. I'll put him at the 6. I'll give him the 6 seed without him. With him, assuming that you give up Wiggins and then 1 or 2 role players that don't greatly change, how the team would play, I could see them being top 4. Like Oklahoma City added Paul George. And they have 2 stars now. And they added Patrick Patterson, some good, role players. They got some youth. And that's great. But it would be hard for them to match up with all that talent on the floor with Kyrie. Westbrook and Kyrie, they cancel out. That's fine. Yeah. And you got Paul George, who's going to get his. And Towns is going to get his. But Paul George and Jimmy Butler, they cancel out. And then Karl Anthony Towns, Steven Adams is good. He's a good defender and stuff. But he's not going to be able to stop Towns. Yeah. There's not many people in the league that can stop Towns. So I feel like they'd probably be better than Oklahoma City. And Houston, if they don't land Carmelo, I feel like I could see them being 3-4 seed with Kyrie without Andrew Wiggins.
Okay.
And I would love to watch that team. I would love for that
team
to be
a fun team. That would be a fun team.
That would be a great, that would be so much fun to watch. So what about you? Where do you have them? We'll go without first read.
Without Kyrie, I have them probably at the 8 seed.
8 seed, so just barely getting in.
Just barely getting in, I think. If you look at the standings last year, Memphis, I don't believe makes it this year. Utah doesn't make it. No. LA certainly doesn't make it.
Yeah.
So I think they're good and bad enough to make it, if that makes sense. I think
they're gonna just.
I think they're just gonna make it simply because there's nobody else.
They're gonna underachieve their way into the
playoffs. Definitely.
That's what you're thinking.
Okay. No, I enjoy. It's gonna be a fun team to watch, especially in the next couple of years. But this upcoming year, I just don't think.
We'll say last year, 41 and going 500 was good enough to make the playoffs in the West last year. And you have to assume you're going to have to win even more games this year just because the West has added, some big names.
Some really good, yeah.
So, they've added Paul Millsap, Paul George, Jimmy Butler. They've added all-stars. 3 all-stars have joined the West. So you got to assume that 500 is not going to be good enough to make the playoffs anymore.
Yeah. No, especially not in the West. Now, in the East, 500, you probably get the 4 seed.
Yeah, but the Timberwolves would most likely have to win, 43, 44 games?
Yeah.
Just to get the playoffs. So I can see that, that you're probably right. Because if this team finally does mesh, and Jimmy Butler may be the glue that helps keep that what everybody wants. The potential's there, and maybe he's the answer.
Yeah, well, him and Thibodeau too in Chicago.
Love Thibodeau.
Yeah, so I think that maybe, and Chicago wasn't bad when Thibodeau was there. I think that you get younger with Minnesota than you were in Chicago. You have Jimmy Butler now. I think without Kyrie, they squeak their way in. With Kyrie, they're definitely in.
You got to say they've added some good veteran Taj Gibson and Jeff Teague, who are going to be.
Yeah.
Jeff Teague's going to start,
yeah.
and I can see Gibson starting. Gibson and Gorgie Jang, like either one of them, like you'll have a good 6-man.
Yeah.
One of the two will be a good 6-man.
Yeah.
So like they've added, and Thibodeau coached, a couple of he coached Gibson and Butler. So like, he
that's
knows
true.
them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I think they'll be. I don't think they'll be a top team next year in the West, but I definitely think they make it next
with
year.
him minus Wiggins. Just assuming you switch those two.
Oh, I think they're definitely. I'll give them a 5 or 6 seed.
That's all right. So I got them a little higher in both cases.
I give them. It's just I think that of course Golden State's gonna have number 1 without a doubt.
Yeah, until somebody puts together another 4 all-star super team.
San Antonio is always gonna be San Antonio.
Right.
Houston will be up there.
Yeah.
The Thunder will be up there. I think Portland will be up there.
Think so?
Yeah.
You think Lillard and McCollum are enough to? Have they added any pieces?
I know they traded Alan Crabb to the Nets.
Okay, so they got rid of him. Here, I'll take a look at their depth chart real quick. So we're rocking. They got Joseph Nurkic still, who he got traded to him last year, mid-season. So like he's not bad. But I'm looking at this team. Evan Turner's he's a good utility player. He's not bad by any means. Al-Farouq Aminu, he's pretty good too as far as role players go.
Yeah.
So
Well,
this team,
I think in the West, there are 3 tiers. The top tier, of course, being Golden State. The second tier, you got San Antonio and Houston.
I think the second tier, there's a handful of teams.
Yeah. And then there's that third tier where it's guys that, or it's teams that.
Is that your Lakers you're talking about? Or is that just like they're not?
I think they're the bottom of the.
They're
third
not
tier.
even worth mentioning.
I mean, let's see. Okay, so first tier I go Golden State, of course. Second tier I'm gonna put the Thunder, the Rockets, the Spurs, and I'll even put Portland in there, and Denver. I'll add Denver in there. And then there's
Minnesota. You put Minnesota there or no? I feel like Minnesota.
I think they're the top of the third tier.
So you got Minnesota below Portland because I feel like Minnesota's roster's got more talent than Portland's.
They do
as far as just on paper.
They do. I feel like Portland's played together longer.
True. McCollum and Lillard have a good.
That's one of the best backcourts.
Thing going
that's
on
one of the best backcourts in the.
Their chemistry,
in the game.
It's pretty clear.
Oh yeah. So definitely that. And then that third tier, you got. I think Minnesota's at the top of the third tier.
Okay.
I think New Orleans. I'll even put Denver in the bottom of the top of the third tier.
Okay.
And then from there it's Dallas, Sacramento,
just everybody else.
Phoenix,
like
LA, both LA teams. Because I think LA, I think the Clippers got significantly worse.
Chris Paul.
No matter, even if they had 12 guys come from that trade, they've got significantly worse. So
I mean, Danilo Gallinari and Patrick Beverly are not going to be able to replace Chris Paul.
No, there's no way. There's no way. It doesn't matter how many guys you trade.
That's right. I mean,
so
back to you. You're talking about the Lakers. You don't think they'll make the playoffs, and I don't either.
I don't think so.
I don't know if many people do.
I don't think so.
I mean, just like they added Lonzo, and they got some good their summer league team was great, obviously, which means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But if that's a sign of things to come, Lonzo looked all but the first game. He looked great.
Yeah.
And I don't mind him. He seems like the most tolerable of that family.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be enough. Magic Johnson could come back as in his prime and play with these people on this team now, and I don't think that's enough to make that team relevant because Magic
I can understand that.
He had some good players around him. People are like, Magic, he's great, and he was. Magic's a great player. But it's also easy to be great when you have James Worthy and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That's true.
Also on your team.
That's true.
But right now, what are they working with? You got Lonzo, Julius Randle, who I like Julius Randle, but the dude's not a difference maker.
Brook Lopez.
And Brook Lopez is
Ingram's gonna be good. Everybody knows Ingram's gonna be good.
I'm not sold on him yet, but it was his first year, so I'll give him one more year to impress me. And then Kentavious
Caldwell-Pope, I'm always gonna be a KCP.
Yeah, he came from the Pistons.
Yeah, so nothing but
love
there. Nothing but love.
He's good. He's a good, B-rated, shooting.
Oh yeah, definitely. And he's so good defensively that I think I wouldn't say he's a top two-way guard.
I'd say Avery Bradley's probably still
Avery
better.
Bradley's definitely
replacing him and Avery Bradley. I think
we got better at the 2 spot because Avery Bradley can shoot as well.
That's true.
But You got to KCP is a good defensive two guard.
So I mean, with this, and you got people like with Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance Jr. That Kyle Kuzma guy, didn't he like wow some people in the summer league?
Yeah,
like
a little bit. Yeah,
supposed to be pretty good.
But it's a lot different from playing LeBron and Westbrook and Curry and all them.
I just don't see the Lakers, and they're going to be with this team right now. They're 2 or 3. I mean, I'd say at least 2 years away from the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And when I say the playoffs, I just mean like fighting for the 8th seed. I don't mean relevant as far as title contenders go at all. Okay. This isn't Magic or Kobe's Lakers.
Yeah.
You know, this is Lonzo Ball's Lakers now. Okay. Like, this is the new, and it's going to take with this team right here. I don't know if they would ever be title contenders just with this roster. Like, you go 4 years in the future with Lonzo just like, assumedly, you know, if Lonzo and Brandon Ingram like in their primes, I still don't think.
Well, okay, what if a lot of rumors about Paul George and or LeBron? Say because they have enough, they don't have enough cap room next year to get 2 star players, 2 max contracts. Do you think if they able to land LeBron and Paul George,
both?
Oh
yeah. Well, if you add LeBron to a team, if you add LeBron in the next 2 or 3 years to a team while he's still really good, then obviously it's going to make any team much better. Because if LeBron could get to the finals with that Cavs team that was just terrible, then he could get to the finals with this team. Yeah. Because this team, I mean, is not any better or worse than the role players that he had.
Which you have to think, though, they're in the West, so they're going to end up having to play.
He's never played the West. He's never dealt with that.
You're going to have to play those teams that have.
But that also means you might get a chance to beat these teams
and not
have to worry about them later on. If you go ahead and like play Golden State 4 times and win a couple of them and prove like, hey, these guys aren't that bad. Yeah. But they're not going to be anywhere near Golden State's level with just LeBron.
No,
if
definitely
you have
not.
Paul George and LeBron, it makes it interesting. You'd still have to have somebody at the guard position. Like Lonzo's got size. I mean, he's a bigger point guard. What is it, 6'6"? Like he's in that Anthony Penny Hardaway type. Not gigantic power forward size like Magic was, but he's not your average 6'3" point guard like, most today. Yeah. So he's got length, but he's not going to be able to guard. I don't think he's going to be able to guard Curry or even Thompson. Like either one of those. Like Thompson, you don't have to worry about guarding on the dribble.
I think he's going to be. I definitely think he's going to show a lot of flaws defensively.
He's a rookie.
He's
so
a rookie.
Into it.
Yeah, but
you're talking about LeBron joining next year.
Next year, after this year.
So that means
after this upcoming year,
he has 1 year to like get to the level where he has to guard these players. I don't think he's going to be ready in that 1 year time. Like he's not going to learn all this in 1 year. Yeah. I mean, for him, it's like baptism under fire. They're going to throw him out there, and say, "Here, do this."
Yeah, with Magic's comments saying, they want to. He's hoping he can put his jersey up in the rafters. That's true. That's a big step forward for a guy that you just drafted and that had never played 1 legitimate minute in the NBA. So.
Magic also was in love with D'Angelo Russell, and then fast forward a few weeks, and the dude's in Brooklyn now. Yeah. God bless that guy. Yeah. So what Magic says isn't exactly the most. Yeah. I don't know if I believe him after the whole D'Angelo Russell. Yeah. This is his team. I'm going to mold him to be like me. Boom, he's gone. Yeah, he's for Brooke Lopez and whatever else they got
for 1 year. Brooke Lopez.
But Lonzo. I think he's going to be good because he showed what he can do against other rookies. Yeah. And as far as rookies and other like borderline NBA players, like he showed that he was up at the top.
Yeah. As long as he's not wearing the big baller brand shoes.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
You believe in that whole the shoe thing? Those shoes are ugly. Can we just talk about how ugly those shoes are? I just feel like that's what it was.
If you don't look well, you don't play well.
That's true. It's all about aesthetics.
Oh yeah.
That's a fact.
That wins games these days. You have to look good.
You heard that? It's not about the shoes. Michael Jordan commercial. That's that Nike commercial back in the day. You remember that? That's not true. I'll let you. It's not about the shoes. It's about what you do in the shoes. That's not true.
It's definitely about the shoes. Definitely about the shoes.
If it wasn't about the shoes, why would Michael make his own shoe brand?
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, selfish.
What was wrong with Converse, Michael? Bird and Magic rocked him. I mean, come on.
Look at those guys. Yeah,
they became best friends with Converse.
Yeah. So,
but anyway, I think LeBron and Paul. It would take both of them to be like mid-tier 4 or 5 seed in the West. But you got to think that like other people might, move to the East or move teams or stuff like that. Like Westbrook hasn't agreed long term, And he's also, I mean, he's played UCLA from California.
Yeah.
So he's somebody that's been rumored to maybe go there. If you had Westbrook, and they can't add all three. There's no way they can add all three. But I would rather have LeBron and Westbrook on the team.
Okay. Yeah.
If you had LeBron and Westbrook, that gives you a chance because I'd say Durant and LeBron could cancel each other out, but we saw in the finals LeBron couldn't guard Durant to save his life.
Yeah.
He just couldn't. And I mean, Durant didn't shut down LeBron either, but they're completely different type athletes. There's no way. But LeBron, I mean, Durant was just scoring all over him. And like, I love Durant, and he's my favorite player. But in the past, like, LeBron, and the record shows that, like, LeBron always gets the best of KD. Like, he always has.
Yeah.
Durant's won very few games against him, but you got to remember, it was a super young Thunder team in the finals that year where they went 4-1.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's hard to count that against Durant because they were ahead of schedule. That strike season, it was the strike season. It was a short season, and nobody expected them to get past San Antonio. They lost the first 2 games and won 4 straight. So that was just, they were just happy to be in the finals at that point.
I kind of look at that Thunder team as being the LeBron Cavaliers team when they played the Spurs and got swept.
Maybe. I feel like
not necessarily
talent
wise. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But kind of jumping the gun a little bit. LeBron being pretty fresh to the.
Yeah, he was not supposed to get there.
He was not supposed to get there, and then you go against what was the best team in the NBA.
What happened there? Did the Pistons choke in the Eastern Conference Finals? Is that why LeBron got there?
That's why LeBron got there.
I just want to make sure that the Pistons let a 20-something-year-old, fresh out of high school, no beard, still full head of hair LeBron beat Chauncey Billups.
That was the end of the
and his Pistons.
Chauncey and Rip and Tayshaun.
Darko Milicic.
Don't
forget literally the greatest Piston in NBA history.
Don't get me started.
In franchise history, Darko.
Greatest draft pick.
I'm surprised you don't have a jersey hanging up in here of Darko.
Oh, it's coming. I've already ordered it. It's coming.
Wow.
Yeah, it's coming.
Make sure it gets here super late.
Yeah.
I hope that the delivery and the whole transaction is as disappointing as his career was.
I'm hoping he delivers it.
I hope it gets here. Oh God, it's probably what he's doing now. You think he's working for FedEx now?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I feel like he probably has like Vin Baker, that old all-star, working for Starbucks. I feel like Darko is probably working for FedEx.
It's possible.
Imagine
FedEx
him.
or UPS.
I don't think. Oh man, in those short shorts for. Oh God.
He's got to wear the hat too. That's like a requirement. You have to wear the hat.
He wore it on draft night when he was the number two overall pick.
2 or 3. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they passed on. Who was it? Wade and Melo and Bosh.
Bosh, yeah.
Oh man, do you have nightmares about this?
All the time.
I
woke up sweating last night from it, knowing that we'd probably bring it up. And
I didn't think we were going to bring it up. I honestly didn't forget about Darko until we started talking about that team right there. Everybody forgets about Darko. Nobody cares about Darko Milicic. Oh man,
good times. Good times.
I'm just
Joe Dumars.
Hey, great player.
Terrible front office.
Terrible front office guy.
Terrible.
We know why he's in the Hall of Fame. It's not for his executive work.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything you want to add to this first, what do we say, episode? We go with episode? We didn't really get to a lot of the baseball stuff. We can get to that next time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's trade deadline day.
Yeah. Let it kind of settle down a little bit.
See, we'll let everybody go places. We got Sonny Gray and people moving already. But we'll let that settle down. We'll cover that tomorrow. Promise.
Yeah.
We'll get to some more stuff. LeVar Ball. I mean, I hate him. Everybody hates him, but got to talk about him, apparently. Anything else you want to add? Will, the coach, Coach Anderson. Coach Will, the coach, Coach Anderson. Sorry, there's 3 coaches. There's 3 coaches. That's going to be really long.
You're going to have to write that down.
Name tag.
Have to write that down, yeah.
That is going to be really long.
I'm going to change my Twitter handle to that.
I can't get you a jersey that says Coach Will, the coach, Coach Anderson on the back.
If you can have one that says Salta Lamaki, I think you can have one of those.
I think that Salta Lamaki was way shorter. Like, in that, where would I split off the last name?
You don't have to.
No spaces.
No spaces, just all together, like bunched up, and they have to be like really small letters.
Wow, no spaces.
No spaces.
I don't even think I'm saying that right then. It'd be Coach Will, the coach, Coach Anderson. Like,
there you go. Say that 10 times fast.
I don't want to. We don't have enough time for that.
But, I think...
Again, first episode, working out the kinks. So...
Yeah.
You got anything, Will? Just
Adrian Beltre, Mr. 3000.
All right.
One of, in my opinion, one of the, I won't say greatest third baseman, but one of the best players.
Don't get in too deep.
Character guys.
We're talking about baseball tomorrow.
Yeah. Just we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Okay, anything to add about what we talked about today?
Today,
Coach Will, the Coach Anderson.
No,
I got to change that name.
Yeah,
that name is horrible.
I like that name.
Okay,
let's let everybody else decide.
Okay, I'm not going to call you
other people.
I'm not going to call you. I'm going to call you Will.
Okay, we'll let them decide.
Okay,
we'll put a poll up. We'll put a poll up,
and
they can decide.
Okay.
So
about what we talked about today.
About what we talked about.
Kyrie Hall of Fame induction. You can talk about that baseball, but we already covered that a good bit. the Lakers, anything like whatever you want to talk about. Anything to add?
I think that's it.
Kyrie to Minnesota, make it happen. Carmelo's overrated. I don't know why they're going after him so hard. Anything? Houston got a new point guard for some reason. For whatever reason, I don't know.
And they apparently played well together in the Drew League.
Oh man!
Since that
You're telling me street ball? They meshed together well? Wow, I would have never seen.
What is travel?
2 Hall of Fame level point guards playing well in a street ball league. Never would have. I don't.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
I think that's it.
Just don't let Kyrie go to San Antonio. But don't. I don't want him to turn into like shorter Tim Duncan, just being all like boring and systematic. Don't do that. Let him express. He's Uncle Drew. Coach Pop wouldn't let him do that.
He needs to have his own team. He doesn't need to be on a team.
I don't want him to be. Yeah,
with a bunch of other guys that have been all-stars every year.
I feel like he needs to be at least as good as everybody else on the team. And in Minnesota or in New York,
he's better.
He is as good or better than the best player.
Oh, yeah.
In Miami, he's better, obviously, but I don't want him to go to Miami. They're so irrelevant now.
Yeah, I think Minnesota would be a good fit.
I think Minnesota would be a good fit.
Yeah.
But don't let him go to San Antonio or Miami because I want him to at least be relevant during the season. And if Deion Waiters is like the bright spot of your season last, oh my god! Like I remember Deion Waiters and he was fun to watch for the Thunder when he played. But come on, like he was like the 7th best player on that team, if that.
Yeah.
I mean, come on! Don't go to a team where you're looking for Hassan Whiteside and Deion Waiters to be your wingmen. You're gonna just regret that immediately. All right, so Kyrie to Minnesota. Or New York. Make it happen.
Either one.
LeBron. I don't know.
LeBron's going to leave. Either way.
Don't go to the Lakers. Why are you going to go to the Lakers? There's the whole Kobe LeBron thing. Don't go play for the same team Kobe played for forever. Don't do that. Pick a team.
I think if he goes to L.A., he's just going to be in the shadows of Kobe. Because that's Kobe's team.
Kobe and Magic.
Kobe and Magic's
play
team.
For Magic.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So
I don't want to see that personally.
They're going to try to say that it's the 3 stars that played for LA. When you look at LA, you can see Kobe and you can see
there's more than 3 stars. That old Jerry West, the logo.
Jerry West. Of course, the logo. You got Kareem,
Elgin Baylor,
and then possibly LeBron. So
Vlade Divac,
Steve Nash,
Dwight
Howard.
Don't get me started on Dwight Howard. we don't have time for this. We gotta.
Yeah, we gotta wrap it up.
This has been going on too long. First episode,
not too bad.
Hope you listen. You know, we rambled some, but that's what this is going to be.
It's going to be opinions. It's going to be opinions. There's no script.
There's no script. I'm looking at the Bill Laimbeer Wikipedia page right now. I didn't think I was going to be doing that today.
Yeah.
I had no idea where this
was
going to go.
That is a nice sweater, too, that he's wearing.
He's rocking a mean sweater.
Nice sweater.
Is that logo?
Detroit Shock.
That is the Detroit
Now
Shock.
they're the Detroit Liberty, I do believe.
It's New York Liberty.
New York Liberty. Okay, I don't know what they are.
I'm sure they're still the Detroit Shock. Yeah, they're still the Shock.
No, it's 2009.
Oh.
They are the Dallas Wings. The Tulsa Shock. Now they're the Dallas Wings. That makes no sense.
I don't know what's happening. WNBA,
get
your
sense.
Stuff together. Come on. Jeez. All right, well, again, I'm Ben. He's
Coach
for
Will,
now.
Coach
He's
Anderson.
Still Coach Will, the Coach Anderson. I'm not going to say that 10 times a show.
Yeah,
episode, whatever
tough.
these are.
It's tough.
It's tough. It is.
We'll put it
the first time.
We'll put it on the poll and we'll let people decide.
All right, we'll let the people decide. People don't vote for that. Vote no, please. I know it's a democracy.
Vote
no.
whatever you feel is necessary.
Shut up, Will. Shut up. All right. Say bye, Will.
Bye.